All right, so Khamzat Chimaev, the undefeated middleweight champion of the world, who hasn't been in action since last August, that went out there and absolutely dominated Dricus Du Plessis from start to finish. It was one-way traffic. He hasn't been in action since August 2025, okay, which is about 7 months ago. And if you ask Sean Strickland and some other people in the middleweight division, he is absolutely terrible for the division because he only fights once a year.
You brought a guy in that fights once a year. It's like every time this guy fights, he has a mysterious injury. It's just, why wait?
Now, fair enough, granted, when you look at his record, yes, he fought Dricus in August 2025. Before that, he fought in October 24. Then he fought in October 23. He had 2 fights in 22, 1 fight in 21, and then 3 in back-to-back successions in 2020. So yes, the strength of schedule has not been very strong. And by the way, I will be sitting down with Khamzat Chimaev on Tuesday for the Jackson podcast. So I will ask him all about all of this type of stuff, and we'll hear what he has to say. But Sean Strickland has been piping off, and he's been going on, and he's been talking some shit at Khamzat Chimaev and saying that he is the only person that can beat him.
I think I'm probably the only one that could beat Chimaev.
And of course, Sean Strickland's going to say that because he was the middleweight champion of the world, and he lost it to Dricus Du Plessis, and then he came back and he beat Paulo Costa, but then he looked like crap against Dricus Du Plessis the second time in Sydney, Australia. And of course, he wants to get back to being the champion again, right? Of course he does. All fighters want to be the champion. So what do? You talk a little bit of shit about the champion. You get on their radar. You make it personal. You talk some shit. You rub them up the wrong way. You stick that knife in. You get personal. You say whatever you got to say to get that guy, that champion, to want to fight you. And of course, Dricus Du Plessis wants another crack at Khamzat Chimaev. Now, let's talk about Khamzat. Listen, he's 15-0. The man's a force of nature, okay? He's unbelievable. The wrestling really is next level, and we know the power in the hands is ridiculous as well. And he has been flirting about going up to the light heavyweight division. That's crazy talk, okay? That isn't going to happen. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I don't have any inside scoops on that, but come on. There's no way you can't win the belt in August and then about a year later decide that you're going to move up to the light heavyweight division. And of course, he called out Alex Pereira, and I'll say it, stylistically, right, that would be a bit of a problematic matchup for Alex Pereira. And of course, you can't underestimate Alex Pereira, but I'm just saying, the wrestling side of things, Khamzat Chimaev will be a problem for anybody. It's just that simple. And when you look at Sean Strickland and some of the things that he's had to say about Chimaev, it does make me, I don't know, scratch my head a little bit. He said, if anyone can beat the Chechen star, it's me. That's a big fight. I'm probably the only one that can beat Chimaev. So he said, here's the thing, guys, right? I'm the only one that can beat Chimaev. Honestly, I think Fluffy is a better wrestler than Chimaev. And that's crazy. That's even worse. That's a worse take than the impression of Sean Strickland that I just did. To say that Fluffy is a better wrestler than Khamzat Chimaev is wild. Hernandez, better known as Fluffy, is a very, very good wrestler. He is very effective, but he hasn't got nowhere near the credentials or the explosivity of a Khamzat Chimaev. But Fluffy is tough, he's gritty, he's got cardio that goes on for days, and underestimate him at your peril. And of course, next week, this time next week, I'm filming this on a Saturday, they are throwing down in Houston. It is the main event. It is Sean Strickland versus Alexander Hernandez. So first of all, Sean Strickland's got to get through Fluffy, right? And that's a really tough matchup. Fluffy is going to push the pace. Sean Strickland pushes the pace. Sean's going to use the jab and try and use the distance. Alexander Hernandez is going to get on the inside. He's going to throw combinations. He's going to shoot. He's going to go for takedowns. He's going to let him get back up because that's what he does. And Sean Strickland's really good at getting back to his feet anyway. And it'll be rinse and repeat. And who can impose their will and who will be the better man on the night, I don't know. It's a great fight, but I'm commentating, so I can't make a prediction. But he says that Fluffy's a better wrestler than Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think so. He said, I think it's kind of weird what the UFC did with Chimaev. This is Strickland. You brought over a guy that fights once a year. The guy doesn't need to fight. He's best friends with a warlord. But I don't know what that's got to do with anything anyway, right? There's no one in the octagon helping him when he's taking out these people one after the other, and that is why the man is undefeated. And against Dricus Du Plessis, it certainly seems that the cardio issues have been solved, okay? He went 5 rounds, and Dricus Du Plessis came out recently. He does expect to be the champion again, by the way, by the end of 2026.
I'll have my belt back before the end of this year.
He expects to get another crack at Khamzat Chimaev, and he expects to beat him, right? He says that first fight with Khamzat Chimaev was terrible. And it was terrible from Dricus's perspective, okay? It was certainly a bad night at the office. He was taken down and he was controlled for the majority of a 5-round fight. Now, anyone that's looking at Khamzat and talking shit about him in that performance, the man was trying to finish the fight. The man was trying to submit him. About 13 minutes of that 24 minutes of control time was Dricus in a crucifix. Now, I'm not talking shit about Dricus Du Plessis. I'm a huge fan of the guy. I love the way he fights. I love the way he carries himself as a person. I am a massive fan of Dricus. He's one of the boys. He's great. He's great for the sport. I got nothing bad to say. But on that night, the only thing that was terrible was Dricus's ability to get back to the feet and to stop a takedown, right? Khamzat Chimaev was trying to choke him out. He was trying to finish him with elbows. He was trying to beat him down. But Dricus is tough, and he made it to the final bell. And that's why there was all the control time and no finish, okay? It's not Khamzat's fault. However, the frequency of the fights, that is a little bit of an issue. Now, we know we had COVID, and that caused some issues. He fought Dricus last August. That's been a while. And as I said before that, it is, to be fair, to give Sean Strickland some credit here, it is only one fight a year. And when you're the champion, you've got to fight. Now, I do know this, as I said. He's in Newport Beach, California right now. He's there with a bunch of Chechens. He's doing a training camp down in Newport Beach at the Santos Studios. That's why I'll be talking to him for the Jackson podcast. So keep an eye out for that one because I'm looking forward to it. But the fact that he's down there, the fact that he's with a bunch of Chechens, the fact that he's training means he's getting ready for something. And of course he is. And to Strickland's point, he hasn't fought in 7 months, so it's time to get back in there and defend the belt and prove that you are the best in the world. Now, the timing couldn't be better for Strickland or Hernandez. Hernandez on an 8-fight win streak, okay? If he beats Sean Strickland, the former champion, maybe he's the next guy in line. And a lot of people look at Fluffy as the kind of guy to have the antidote wrestling to Khamzat Chimaev. A guy that won't get tired, a guy that will push the pace, that will try and take down Khamzat Chimaev, right? Which will not be an easy thing. Kamaru Usman was able to do well in that regard. So was Gilbert Burns. But that was when Khamzat Chimaev got tired. I'm going to ask him all about this, what he's done to change his style, because in the past he would go out, fight at a ridiculous pace, try and get the finish. Most of the time gets the finish in the first round. And then when he didn't, he would fade in rounds 2 and 3. He went 5 rounds, no problem. I want to know what he changed. Was it his diet? Was it his training regimen? Was it a lack of discipline? Did he start doing more running? Something changed because now the man can go 5 rounds, no problem. And that means he's a problem for whoever it is that he's going to fight. It should be Nassourdine Imavov. It could be the winner of Fluffy versus Sean Strickland. And again, Sean Strickland says that he's the only person to beat him, that Fluffy's a tougher test than Khamzat Chimaev. I don't know about any of that. But what do you think about everything that I just said, right? Sean, he's saying things to get attention. Of course he is. And he probably believes that because as fighters, we have to have that self-belief. We have to believe that we can beat all of these people. And Sean Strickland's no chump. He's no walk in the park. And certainly when he was sparring someone recently, you might have seen that footage, he throws a head kick, knocks out one of his sparring partners out cold. And we know he loves to beat up on a streamer. But will he beat up on Fluffy Hernandez next weekend in Houston? Let me know in the comment section who you think wins that belt. And let me know what you think about Khamzat Chimaev coming back. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Imavov? I think it is. That's the fight that needs to happen. Maybe Fluffy or Sean, maybe they jump and leapfrog. Maybe they get into pole position. I don't know. What do you think? Thanks for watching. Subscribe, ring the bell. Saturday afternoon here. I'm going to do a mix. I'm going to upload it to my SoundCloud. I did it yesterday. Thing didn't record, so I'm going to do it all over again. And I tell you what, it was a banger. So I'm annoyed. I'm going to try and replicate some of the mixes that I did, but I had no idea. I was just freestyling off the top of my head. Anyway, again, thanks for watching. You guys take care. Bye bye.